Hey, we are live, so no sense welcoming everybody because we've all been here for a couple hours, so this is going to be the Town Lake Council special meeting of council. It's being held on Tuesday, September 6th, 2022. It's going to be at 7 p.m. and the meeting is being held at the temporary council chambers at 38 King George Street and being transmitted electronically via the Town Lake Council YouTube channel. Before we get started, I'd just like to acknowledge that this meeting is taking place on the traditional territories of the Subosset, as people of the lake, our local First Nations, where we live, work, and play happily together as neighbors. So with that, I'll call this meeting to order and ask for any introduction of late items. No late items, then I would like to inform you that the CEO is not here, so the personnel issue won't be discussed, and also that law enforcement won't be here this month. Move to strike the camera. So moved. Moved by Councilman Brown, second by Councilor Austin. Any discussion? All those in favor? None opposed. Motion carried. Nothing on the agenda till we get down to bylaws. So with that, we have the Town Lake Council remuneration and expense bylaw number 1077/2022. And it may be read a first, second, and third time. And I believe earlier this evening we heard some amendments. So I think because just for formality's sake, we make those amendments in the form of motions so that we get everybody's nod at rather than just one or two opinions and make it formal, because this is a pretty significant document. So with that, I'm looking for somebody to move that. Councilman Brown.
I will move it, and if I have a seconder, I will recommend the amendment.
Second by Councilor Austin.
9(1)D under bullet 1. Delete not eligible for replacement tablet and replace it with defective equipment will be replaced. Damaged equipment is the responsibility of the elected official. Damaged or lost equipment is the responsibility of the elected official.
Thank you very much for that. Is that clear for the minutes? I'm seconder on that. Councilor Austin. Any discussion? All those in favor? None opposed, motion carried. Any further minutes?
And I think at this time, I would be pleased to delete 9H, the loan for $5,000 on the e-bike. I believe that's a little bit early for us to be suggesting it this time. It could be looked at a future council remuneration bylaw if the increase in usage is occurring within our community.
Seconder on that one, please. Councilor Sandy, thank you. Any further discussion on that amendment? Call the question. All those in favor? None opposed, motion carried.
One final one, I think Councillor Austin had suggested that the previous ratios were 60% of the mayor's wage. I'm not sure if he's looking at keeping the way it is now or looking at accommodating that. I'm comfortable either way. It doesn't really matter to me. The technology one has certainly improved our online presence, which has been 2 years consistently. Eating up a lot of bandwidth and paper and ink. So whatever, I will leave that to Council.
What everybody else feels, if they want to leave it at the 55%.
Well, if you put it in the form of a resolution, we can have that discussion. Or not.
I will make the motion that we keep it at 60%. We keep you want me to read the whole thing? Remuneration ratio for counselors to remain at 60% of the mayor's annual salary. Is that okay?
Seconded, and just for clarification, if we look at the language in that bylaw, there's something about 4% less in the mayor's salary, so I don't know if that might
That's
have
what
to
it
be
says.
doctored up in that language or not, I don't know.
It says 4% plus inflation adjustment. Plus a 4% inflation adjustment.
Okay, so it'll be all good? Yeah. I was confused. So you move that?
I have.
The second, Councillor Sandu.
Any discussion? I'll call the question. All those in favor? None opposed? Motion carried. Okay, another topic of discussion was from Councillor Bowman.
I believe we have to move the whole bylaw as amended. Readings, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Don't, but
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Councilor Mac, I think might have an amendment.
Okay, I thought we were done with the discussion, my apologies.
Yeah, it was,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know how to do this one, the 6B. And it was more of clarification, I think, was the transportation expense, including airfare and car rental. And that was just a little too vague for me. So I don't know whether it's the wording, can it be to have it say on upon approval of the CAO prior to?
Councilor Ross.
My question is, what has happened in the past? Because people have gone to all sorts of places where there weren't shuttles, like where we were. I'll go back to where we were. We were out in the middle of an industrial park. We were not in a town where you could walk 3 blocks to the conference center. So maybe Ms. Gill knows, but
With mileage, you had your own vehicle. And you were reimbursed mileage.
just mileage on your own vehicle, no rental. But if you're in, say, Nova Scotia, you wouldn't have your own vehicle. I wonder what people did when they went to far, far away places in the past, because you have all been to other places, Nova Scotia, Quebec.
If I may, they were usually within walking distance or accommodation. This was a little unusual in that we were, and the transit that was provided was not reliable. I waited for over an hour and a half to try to get to the conference, missed one of my sessions because of that. I think if we did amend it with prior approval of CAO, that may at least have appeased Councillor Omaka on some of the discussions, at least they took place prior to getting that reimbursed. Usually we do not use car rentals, but this was very unusual. So I will, on B, I will move the addition of with prior approval of the CAO. At the end of it.
Second by Councilor Omaka. Any further discussion on that? I'll call the question. All those in favor? None opposed, motion is carried. Councilor Sandu.
I was just gonna say, I was glad to see that the meal allowance has increased somewhat because it did not cover some of our days, breakfast, lunch, or, so we paid extra out of our own pocket, whatnot, so this is a good start, so.
And I agree, because a lot of people don't understand that when we all do go to convention, even though we get the remuneration, we're not being, most of us are leaving a job also, that we're losing paid for, so I'm happy that that's been changed also.
Okay, so we moved the bylaw 3 times. And we approved all the amendments. So now we're going back to the amended bylaw. Mr. Parliamentarian.
For first, second, and
For
third reading.
first, second, and
Yes.
third reading. There we go.
And so moved.
Moved by Councilor McDonald, second by Councilor Sandu. And I'll call the question now. If there's no more discussion, all those in favor? None opposed, the motion is carried.
That's cool.
We are working on some of these. Townway Couch and Development Cost Charge Bylaw number 1078/2022. Also may be read a first, second, and third time. I don't know if we need any more preamble on that one. Moved by Councilor Sandy. Second by Councilor Donovan.
And I am a little more comfortable with the discussion that was provided by Urban Systems and our planner. I think the upfront costs are for future improvements, and that made me feel a little bit better. That they won't be put onto the extra price. When we look at some of the things within that for townhouses and a reduction that we can do in a bylaw by council, I think on affordable nonprofit housing, you do have the option to try to accommodate that black, where you say in the middle, that we have.
Regardless, it was a great discussion. It was a huge jump.
Mhm.
And it's a brave move on our behalf.
Mhm.
Something that we had to do, because I think it was Council McDonald that said it during the first presentation a couple months ago or a month ago, or so we've been not doing this for how long and how much money was that actually being not being paid by. So it's been moved and seconded. Discussion, I think, is over. I'll call the question. All those in favor? None opposed, motion carried. So that brings us right down to question period, and the maximum 3 minutes per speaker. If somebody happens to phone, the phone number is 250-749-6681. 250-749-6681, extension 104, or you can email your question to general@lakecouchon.ca. That's general@lakecouchon.ca. We'll pause the meeting for 3 minutes and reconvene to see if there's any questions. Thank you.